I want to start by asking you a question. And that question is, if income created wealth, wouldn't every high earner already be wealthy? I want you to take a moment and genuinely think about that right now. If income alone, if having income created wealth, wouldn't every high earner that you know, every high earner that I know, every high earner that we know, wouldn't they already be wealthy? You know, that's a key crucial question that we should start to ask ourselves on a day-to-day basis. If income creates wealth, then surely every single person I know, every single person you know, every single person we know should already have wealth. They should already be in a position where they're saying to themselves they've already completed their mission. But that's actually not the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline for you exactly how it works. Let's take person A. Okay, person A. Let's make person A a lady today. Okay, so we take person A, and then let's take person B, right? And person B, for the purpose of this story, is going to be a male today. Okay, now person A starts their journey a particular certain way. Person A earns £180,000 per year. That's what they earn. But let me tell you what they do with what they earn. Over the next 10 years, person A decides to own expensive cars. Person A decides to buy things we call liabilities, which, as you know, don't help your ability. Person A is stacking up, racking up a whole bunch of things that aren't gonna change anything. Hello, somebody. And as person A is making these decisions with precision, person A is not realizing what's gonna ultimately happen at the end of their incision. Now let's look at person B. Let's imagine person B only earns £55,000. £55,000 is slightly less than half of what person A currently generates. But let's say person B decides to invest in assets and not liabilities. Let's say instead of buying cars so they can drive down the street and feel like a star, person B says, no, I'm going to be investing in things that can bring me more income. So I'll replace the car with stocks. I'll replace buying things that make me feel as though I'm the man or woman. Instead, I'm going to be investing in income generating businesses. Okay. Now, some of us might be thinking, income generating businesses, how do I do that? I'm not a shark on Shark Tank. You don't have to be a shark on Shark Tank. You don't have to be a dragon in a dragon's den in order for you to invest, my friend. Now, why is this so important? Let me explain why this is so important. The reason this is so important is because making this simple, single dish difference, making this simple, single decision can ultimately, radically change your life. When you say to yourself, I understand, Samuel, that I generate a good income, but I'm hearing what you're sharing, and then for the first time, I'm actually realizing that income alone doesn't create wealth. I've spent all of my life attempting to rack up as much income, but now I'm realizing that income is not the input in and of itself. Income doesn't create the output in and of itself. Income must go through some process to become what I need it to become. If you understand that income does not in and of itself create wealth, you'll start to recognize why all the high earners you know, all the high earners I know, all the high earners we know are not naturally, as a byproduct, just wealthy. Wealth is a byproduct of systems. Wealth is a byproduct of sequences. Wealth is a byproduct of settings that once we put into play, they allow our wealth to come to play. And you can put them into play with your income. But your income has to go to work in order for you to have wealth that will actually work for you. The challenge we have in our current society is most people are trying to have a variety of wealth without doing the prerequisites first, without putting in the first things necessary in order for them to have the things they desire to be necessary. So you might be sitting here saying, Samuel, like, what are the things I need in order to succeed so I can finally have everything I think I need? So glad you asked. One of the things you need is to start to develop and start to create an engine that will propagate wealth for you. When we look at this example of person A and person B, even though person A is making close to 3 times more than person B, the decisions, the choices, the day-to-day activity is what is lacking creativity with person A versus person B. A question you should ask yourself is, who do I desire to be? Am I going to be person A, or am I deciding to be person B? Because it doesn't matter how much income you generate if all the income you generate decides to start to hesitate. If you're on 180,000 a year and your 180 is drank like beer, then what's the point of you attempting to accumulate wealth here? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because all of your wealth is being slowly depleted. All of your wealth is being slowly wasted. All of your energy is being procrastinated and hesitated. But there's another way. And this is the reason why I'm here to speak to you today, because there's another way. What's the other way, Samuel? Follow the path of person B. Follow the path of someone who can see. Follow the path of someone who decides to get into investments rather than spend their investments on liabilities. The biggest challenge most people have is they haven't come to grips with a key core concept, which I want to share with you right now, and that is income is simply raw material. You see, most people have never had that enlightenment in their life to recognize why things aren't working in their life. Most people haven't realized that their income is just raw material. It's like when someone goes into a mine searching for gold. Even when they find gold, it doesn't at first look like gold. It looks like a rock. It might even look like mud. And it takes some time. It takes some time to uncover the precious metal, to uncover the precious jewel, to uncover the thing that's inside. And in order to do that, you might need to use some fuel. You might need to go through some processes, so go through some sequences, go through some systems and apply some settings in order to turn what looks like a rock into some pure gold. And this is the challenge we have in our current climate. In our current climate, most people haven't realized that income is simply raw material. And because they've failed to realize that income is simply raw material, let me tell you what they do. They believe that income creates wealth. And because they believe that income creates wealth, they haven't realized that every high earner isn't already wealthy, because income does not automatically create wealth. There's something that you and I still have to do. There's a process we have to put our income through. And the moment we place our income through the 1 or 2 things we have to do, everything will begin to work for me and you. That's how wealth is created. It's created by subjecting your income to a process. It's created by recognizing that income alone isn't the key to wealth. Income alone is simply the raw material. And the moment it starts to click, the moment you start to realize that your income is only surely your raw material, guess what? Everything starts to change for you. Let me give you a quick example. One of the things I discovered, a principle that I uncovered, is the principle, and I found it in a book. The principle states that rather than using your money to buy anything you desire to buy, you should instead wait for your money to have babies. And the moment your money has babies, you should then wait for your money to have grandbabies. And the moment your money has some grandbabies, hello, somebody, that's when you should get to spend some of your money. Let's take a moment and think about this. What would happen if the only time you desired and decided to spend money was by the time your money made grandbabies? Let's look at what this looks like. If this initial money is your income, alternatively, if you work a job, your salary, and you have the wherewithal, you have the wisdom, you have the insight, the hindsight, the foresight to take your income, take your salary, and invest it into some form of an asset, some form of a vehicle. And there are many vehicles out there. But by virtue and as a byproduct of you investing that income into a vehicle or into an asset, that money now creates some new money. So your money has produced children for you. And the moment your money has produced children for your original income money, you then take that secondary money, the children of your money's children, and you get your money's children to go have some grandchildren. Now, the moment your money's children have some grandchildren, you then say to yourself, oh, now I can spend some money. That would be one of the fastest paths for you to develop and create an amount of money you will never hate. Because what we're doing through this process is we are creating wealth. But the key to creating wealth is not to spend the income on yourself, because income is truly and simply raw material. If you resonate with what I've shared in this, what I'd like you to do is write the comment raw material down below so I know that this is getting through to you. Let's go.
Small keys open big doors.